Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Villains Vignettes, Volume 1 by Drew Hayes. So Drew Hayes is one of my favorite writers. I love his Superpowered series and I love the Villain Code series. So this is a kind of an anthology. It has three short stories inside of this one, not novella, but short story collection. And each one is basically a different story. I've only read the first one, but I really want to talk about it because the themes of it are so much fun. It's Halloween themed, and I am a huge fan of Halloween, so I definitely want to talk about it. We'll definitely talk about the other two books in the other two stories in this book as well. But the second one is fairly short, and the third one is shorter than the first one. So I'll probably make one video talking about both of those. But this one, I want to specifically kind of talk about it by itself. So this is going to have a short non-spoiler section, and then we're going to talk full spoilers. So with that being said, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's begin. So, welcome to Hollowville. I think it's called Hollowville. It's very much like a Goosebump title, like Welcome to Horrorland, but it's like Hollowville. So, this story is a short contained story that is essentially a sequel to Bones of the Past, the most recent Villain Code story. So it has most of our main characters in it, and it's a lot of fun. So the story it just kind of is a kind of day in the life. It's very much a thing that Drew very much specializes in, just giving us this snapshot, this kind of this not very drawn out part of just one of the characters' lives or numerous characters' lives. It doesn't always have to be this gigantic, earth shattering thing. So he just likes to kind of play with their lives, living in this reality that's just kind of out there. I think he does a great job with it, and it shows itself in this story because we have characters who are insanely powerful, but they're so powerful, but they don't really have any specific like malice to them that the power just becomes like, well, okay, I'll just do this kind of thing. It's very much like Captain Bullshit in the earlier stories. It's very much like that. There's apparently multiple characters like that. So in this story, a character named Spooky Trudy, she has a reality warping ability that has a major area of effect. So every year, well, not every year, but sporadically, or between September 1st and Halloween, or the end of September and Halloween, yeah, for the entire month of October, she will take over an entire town and reality warp it to be this perfect spooky atmosphere kind of thing. So she turns into Halloween Town, like from Halloween Town, basically. And during the day, it's like all ages, it's all family friendly and stuff. But then at night, all the scary stuff becomes dangerous and it becomes like real, and only the adults and the superheroes and stuff and people, other metas like who want to test their meta or whatever, are allowed to go in. So of course that's what we follow our characters doing in this one, and it's done so well. It's just so much fun. It shows a great slice of like day in the life of our characters, and there's a couple really interesting twists here, and there's like this really cool sentimental through line. There's this kind of it shows pretty much all different kind of facets of the characters, and we get extra character development that was kind of left out of Bones of the Past because it kind of ends when the story ends. It doesn't like continue going, but we kind of see that the relationships that were kind of started in that one continue here, and they deepen, and a lot of the events and stuff deepen and they continue. So there's just a lot of fun to it, and the ultimate ending of it is just kind of it actually is able to generate a surprising amount of tension, because I was surprised at how much I was like, oh crap, what's going on, like in the ending and stuff. I really, really liked it. And it's very short. It's a very quick read or a quick listen. I really recommend it, especially if you're into any of Drew Hayes stuff. And I definitely, definitely recommend it because it is so chocked full of Halloween goodness, and I just love it so, so much. So let's go ahead and talk spoilers. I want to talk a little bit more specifics. So spoilers for Villains Vignettes Volume 1, the first story. Welcome to Hollowville. So yeah, so, and this one is really, really cool. I really like the way they do this. So, a lot of the characters, of course, all the characters, like Tori, Bethany, Chloe, and the three super science sentries. The Ike is the one who died, Presto. So we got Captain or Professor Quantum Jr. or Quantum Jr. or whatever, Captain Quantum, I can't remember his name, and Plasmodia, and and what was his name? Super Speeder Kid, whose name I can't remember. Ah, because I know it's Presto. Um, Tachyonic. That was his name, Tachyonic. So they're all in this. So we got the continuation of this big group of friends, kind of like how we had in Superpowers and stuff. So it's just a lot of fun. So Chloe is the one who really wanted to go to this event because no one else really had any interest. And it's kind of like interesting to me that no one had any interest because we find out that it's like D&D loot. It's like an RPG kind of loot system. So if you go in there at night, you deal with these challenges and stuff like that. You can get magical items and stuff like that. And there's even rumors of some metas going in there and getting enhancements to their powers and those enhancements remaining permanent. So there's just a lot of incentive that if you just live in this world and you're a meta, even if you're not a superhero or villain or anything, I think it would be a lot of fun to do. So I definitely would go anyway. And during the day, it's the same kind of thing, except it's more like Cedar Point's Hollow Weekends kind of thing. It's very much all ages, like family friendly kind of thing. None of the stuff there is dangerous, and there's still, you can dress up as any superhero or villain, and when you go into this place inside the effect of the reality warp, then you will temporarily have a lessened version of those powers. So people can go and try out other people's powers essentially. So that's just really really cool of an idea to me. So multiple people, like so many people, go in there dressed as Lodestar so they can fly and have super strength and like energy blast and stuff like that. So it's just really really cool and it's a lot of fun. But there's this interesting kind of mechanic thing to it. Drew Hayes' magic system is very hard. He has a very hard magic system, and I love that he's very consistent with that. So he plays with this idea of technology and magic. So characters whose powers are like tech based or like science based don't often have a great correlation with magic. So Lodestar powers are not like real Lodestar. Helen, her powers are not magic based. They're, I guess, just sci-fi based. I don't know how you really explain magic. Comet give her powers and that not sound like magic. I just yeah, but essentially she's not very compatible with outright magic. So she goes in dressed as a character who's essentially Glinda the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz, and she's like, I'm not really, compatible with this, so it's not going to sync up, and I'm not going to be able to pull the max amount of power out of this outfit, but I can still get a handle on magic and play with magic a little bit. So, like, that's her motivation. So she's in there having fun. And I thought that was really cool. So, one of the things that happens is Tori, same thing. Her powers are science based, so she doesn't think, she also just doesn't really like magic. She just doesn't trust magic as this very hardline scientist kind of person that she is. So she goes in as Professor Quantum because she not only hates him, but she, can appreciate his mind and stuff, and she's wondering if she'll get a little bit of the, a little extra boost from having that level of intelligence or whatever. But since the powers are lesser versions, they have a mechanic in there where you eat this candy and you get like a power boost of those powers. So she's never ever at the level of Professor Quantum, but it's enough to play with essentially. So it's still just a lot of fun. And there's this character who has the funniest supervillain name. He apparently has a pretty weak power in general. He's like a power mimic, but he has to go through multiple stages before he can copy a lesser version of their power, something like that. And so he goes into the situation, into the Hollowville, wanting to take as many costumes as he can so he can get temporary access to all those powers so that he can then take the powers of the woman who created the reality warp. So he can basically rule the world inside the reality warp or whatever and actually feel powerful. So he's in there grabbing outfits and stuff, and that becomes the thing that our group of characters have to deal with. So he's got multiple different outfits and stuff, and he even takes out Lodestar because Lodestar is not good with magic, and she can only do so much with it. So she ends up kind of getting overpowered and stuff. And when when your item is taken, and you are no longer in costume, you're automatically transported outside of the influence of the reality warp. So she has to get a new costume. So that basically is how we get rid of Lodestar for a while, because otherwise it would just be too easy of a fix. And if Lodestar uses her regular powers, she can collapse the reality warp. And because it's kind of a mundane, non-issue thing, it's very much like I said, like Captain Bullshit, where it's like yes, it's kind of a meta using their powers willy nilly, but it's like it's more or less harmless, and it often has a benefit to the citizens and stuff like that. Because all the people that get changed into like this the creepy stuff at the end of the month, they go back to normal, perfectly fine and healthy, and they get like a boon. She basically pays them for this. The only downside is they don't really get an option. She just shows up and conscripts them essentially. But so we kind of get rid of Lodestar so the rest of our group can handle it. And basically everybody's getting wiped out, and Tori thinks that she can take care of this all herself because not only does she has Professor Quantum's intelligence, she has his arrogance. So she's way overconfident, and then realizes, okay, I am overconfident and stuff. And then the guy whose name is just so funny. So the guy they're going up against has this funny name, and I just love it. It's Fashionistador. Like, so he's like a matador, but he's also a fashionista. So the idea that he's taking clothes and stuff, and he even makes a couple like fashion puns and like kind of talk crap to Tori. So the fact that he's doing this is just so hilarious. Because fashionista door. It's so hard to say, but it's also like a matador because he's kind of like, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess he's more wrangling than like fighting a bull. I mean, I guess Tori kind of becomes a bull, but like it's a whole thing, and like he actually manages to take out everyone. Like he takes out pretty much everyone except Chloe. She ends up getting buried in rubble, and because the costume she's wearing, she has enhanced strength and stuff, so she's pretty much okay, but she's basically out of commission. But everybody else loses, and because of Tori's arrogance and stuff, she ends up losing. And he takes the Professor Quantum lab coat and takes her powers, so she gets booted out. And her solution is she's going through rummaging to try to get a new outfit and stuff because Lodestar is doing the same thing, rummaging through to get a new outfit and stuff. And the outfit Tori ends up getting is a kind of a weird knockoff version of Fornax. So she comes back in with the powers of Fornax, and it's just awesome. Even though it's a way lesser version, she's still way more powerful than pretty much anybody else in the park, in the reality warp. So it's really interesting, and I like the fact that his powers are so OP that anybody that even has a facsimile of his power are in major pain. Like they are in a lot of physical pain, and few people are even able to use it. So it's a very selective thing, which shows that because of her closeness to Ivan to Fornax, she has a greater level of synergy with his powers than she did with Professor Quantum, even though she's tech based. So you would imagine she'd have a great, synergy with his powers, but she actually has a better synergy with her mentor's magic powers because their personalities and their just closeness matches up more. So I really like that. I think that's really cool, and I really like the fact that Drew Hayes' hard magic system, like, it's still constantly showing itself through. There are these very specific rules, even though the fact these are technically, this is almost a bend to a rule, giving people the ability to access other people's powers and stuff. But it still falls very much in line with the rules that he's already established for these power sets. So it just works on the world building. I love the expansion of the world building. I love getting more of these characters. And I really hope the next two short stories in this volume is just really, really good. And they also involve our main characters. The next one is like really short. And maybe it's only like 10 chapters. So I'll probably get through that one today. But yes, we'll definitely come back and talk more about it. I really like Drew Hayes stuff. I really can't help but recommend it a lot. And I really like this one so, so much because it is just chock full of Halloween goodness. And I am ready for the Halloween season. I don't care if people say it's too early. I already got my pumpkin spice coffee and everything. I am hyped. So let's go. So yeah, until next time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.